Our next inductee, you might say he was somewhat of a visionary. Obviously, he was a proud member of the Mary Persons Bulldogs, but he always was looking ahead to make sure to pave the way for what was to come. Number one, he was a huge and extremely strong supporter of Coach Pitts. And you might say, well, that was easy to do, but he was actually a supporter back when Coach Pitts was just starting and back when there weren't 8 and 9 and 10 win seasons and people were wondering if he was the right man. But this inductee knew he was and kept pushing him. He also knew that in order for the Mary Persons program to get better, you needed a strong feeder program. And that's why he started the first youth football program here in Forsyth and in Monroe County, featuring the Black Knights and the Golden Rams. And then he also realized maybe there was another step to take, the forming of the Mary Persons Bulldog Touchdown Club, which kind of paved the way for touchdown clubs around the state and was almost a role model for other touchdown clubs. He established an award through his radio program, and through all of the hard work that he built, he helped elevate the Mary Persons program to what it is today and what it has been. Now, he is no longer with us, but we are pleased to honor him tonight and welcome his son, Glenn, to help welcome into the Forsyth Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame, Marion Dorner, and we please welcome his son, Glenn, center stage tonight.
So Jim told me to make sure I'll come up here and not speak less than 25 minutes. Is that right? Honored guest here tonight is Mayor Eric Wilson here and Commission Chairman Greg Tapley. Just want to thank you for your public service and safety that we have here looking after you tonight, okay? I want you to think about people that have to work on the weekend and look after you all that time. I'd like to thank the Sports Hall of Fame for putting this all together. This is quite a remarkable event. Very special and very elegant in here, so it's just a wonderful setting. If I could, Richard Dumas, Bob Harris, Hal Clark, I'd like to thank y'all for helping me and everybody get in here and get this thing going. We didn't understand a lot of what's going on. The reason I'm saying that is that I have two wonderful sisters that helped raise me and everything, and I'm gonna embarrass them to the most if I can, but Jen Dorner Stroud and Deborah Dorner. You can please stand a little bit like that. In other words, they stuck me up here to do this, right? So I'm gonna get them back a little bit. But Marion Dorner, he grew up here in Forsyth. He just he loved this. He was born in the 20s, and he just kind of came on up. He was quite a character coming around. He grew up on North Lee Street, and if you ever eat at Captain D's, you're eating in his kitchen right there, okay? That's where he was born. When they rebuilt that whole area, they picked up that house and moved it somewhere out 42 North. So I hadn't quite figured out where that is yet, but it is there. But he played football, he played sports throughout, and Mary Persons was a happening place. He was always about football, and he loved it. When he graduated from high school in 42, he got his notice, and he was waiting on the Army Air Forces before they loaded him up, and he became a World War II veteran. He served in the American theater a lot and was an aircraft mechanic. He wound up in Hollywood a lot of the time. Some kind of way he worked that out. And I'm not surprised at all. That's generally what goes on with him. But one of the things that really caught on with him was when he came into Forsyth and when Coach Pitts showed up here. And he came to take on this team and bring football to Forsyth. And that second season was an abysmal failure in that second season. And so everybody talked about keeping their distance away and nobody said anything. You know, sometimes here in Forsyth when something bad happens, it gets real quiet around there, and everybody looks in a different area. And that time, it lit off, but Daddy was right by his side the whole time. And they became real strong friends after that for a long time to follow. And he picked up on the Black Knights, working with a lot of other people in the football program and going along with that. But I have to say, too, that when Daddy sat on in the football stands watching the game, we'd like to say good things about Coach Pitts, but he used to yell out in the stadium every once in a while, "Just stop running it up the middle." That was the words he always used, because Dan just loved to run in the middle of the football field all the time. That was the way he did it. But anyway, he opened up in the 1970s. He picked up on the Dorner Sports Arena. And it was a interesting little show, but he bought this real high-tech, reel-to-reel tape recorder that I couldn't lift myself. He had to carry it into the house kind of thing and set it up. Put a microphone out and brought all those high school football players up there and asked them all these long, intense questions, and every one of them would come up to that microphone and they would say, "Yes, sir," and then run away from it. So he had to fill in almost with everything he said in that. But it was a hilarious time, and we have they broadcasted that show on WJGA over in Jackson, Georgia. And there was a guy named Buster that did that. But we also have a cousin, Walter Carmichael, that was there. And Walter believed a lot in the football program that they so-called had over there in that Jackson area. But we knew better, right? And anyway, we like to feel like in the Dorner family that tradition of, I can't even hardly say rivalry, but that between Jackson and Forsyth has always been strong and in there a lot of the time. One of the things he used to complain about, and this was in the late 60s and early 70s, was when they said Davis, because the announcer would be up there, Davis kicking that high punt, Davis running into the end zone, and this went for years after years. And they claim we can't play somebody for 7 years in high school football like that. But it was easy. It was Ricky and Lawton and Denzel that watched Davis that was doing all that time in there. But anyway, just want you to remember that that we appreciate. We don't live here in the Forsyth anymore. We live out of state, but our heart always stays here, and we should appreciate it. And just remember Marion Dorner, if you can, a veteran, a coach's friend, and the original 12th man. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.